Hello, Starlet. That's good. Um, Welcome back to another video. So we've been working through this build your own kit using C, which is available on Codecrafters, which is quite a cool thing to do. And so in that process, we've kind of built up a, a few different commands, and I guess in a recent video, I think the last in this series, I was working on the kind of notion of help and passing. So I kind of want this to be everywhere almost. So the problem is that we kind of do parsing in a few different places. Like we do it in this command, and then we also do it down in this command likely. Wait, hash object. No, it should just be in a different place. It's kind of in an odd place. But yeah, this also kind of does some checking, and this also does some checking. And all these things have kind of a usage that they print out if there is an error, but they all kind of do roughly the same thing. And I'm wondering how I can kind of yoink it all up into a thing to say, you can do all of this. Which, yeah, I'm just wondering how I might go about doing that. So one thing I was kind of looking at was the kind of how to parse it. So I've made like a couple of changes. I might make this a touch bigger. I've made a couple of changes just to make things a bit more sense. So I've moved this match outside of this loop, and there was like a weird break here, which I got rid of because that would kind of defeat the purpose. We do the break at the end of this anyway. And then if there's no match, we kind of want to say a thing. And if there's no match, I kind of want to do like an assert that argp is a thing, and p slash equals and like we have a thing arg in arg. That is kind of an assertion I am making. So that's the thing of this loop, and the only place that we do the break is in this match. If we have match, then we do it. And so that will hopefully break things if that kind of assumption doesn't hold. So if we're at this point, I kind of want to just say RP data, and we can say this is a void start, and we can say, are we still in I? Yeah, we still have an I. So I kind of want to say we're this much into our argc array. So we could go more. Is the general essence. And if that is the case, we could potentially return false. Like that's kind of like error. And so I kind of want this to maybe do some bool. So it kind of goes and checks things, I guess. And if it doesn't pass, then we can do that. And I noticed that we don't even have it here really. Like we don't. Yeah. So when we're doing this, we have like our screen, so it should just be kind of this thing. I think I also want to pass in the maybe the command object, maybe just the command object, because the command object should have oh, it's just got the name and the phone. No, it does have the arrows. So I think in this, I actually want the command T, and this is command. And so this then just equal to command args. And I think I want to make an assertion that, and maybe this can be assertion there, that command args is not equal to null. Because if it is, then it would kind of break things, and it's also kind of best that. Right, so if we do that, then this parser, nothing actually calls this parser yet, but if we kind of have that, then we can say that. And I guess at the end of this whole thing, I need to almost check whether everything is up. I just need to check a thing. Yeah, cool. So like we kind of set some stuff here. We don't do all setting. But if we did, we need to kind of make an assertion that we got to the end. I guess that's here. So if this is the case, we will just default to true. So maybe let's give this a whirl and see what it kind of gives us. So if not pass arcs, and we can say just command. That's where we kind of give it. Then something happens. I think I want to do like usage. But I wonder if that usage should happen. Yeah. I think it might happen down here. But yeah, anyhow, I kind of want to see what happens at this point. And this command can only really get called once at this point because we don't really reinitialize it all to whatever it was. So it was here. We're kind of modifying it in a sense. So it is very a one-time thing, this cat file command. But the way it is kind of set up is it is uh, hopefully only going to return the function, so it calls the function of whatever it was. So this is kind of the returning from main. So that should be kind of all right. It will only run once and then return, and then that's it. But I guess like perhaps I should make an assertion that like maybe that cat, well, maybe actually command args. Well, actually, no, I don't have the length of it. If I do it that way, I would have to do the not that cat file args. And the thing I want to get out of it is the C array length. So the length of the thing -1. So the length of it should be 5. My correct, yeah, 5. And so this would give me the size t of 5. And yeah, then I just subtract 1 off to get a nice index. So I guess I want to assert maybe a few things, that this equals Rn still, and also that maybe data is null. Are we calling it data? I can't recall what we go this way. Yes, it was data. And so I guess if that is the case, I kind of want to we don't really have a pointer to it there because it could be. Well, no, this should be after it goes through all of. No, we've lost IP at this point. I mean, I guess I could set it to be argc, and then that's kind of. Because I would never be argc. So if it is equal to argc, that kind of signifies it finished, I guess. The last arg was on. Easy. Right, so I want to check that this is still null. So that will kind of get changed in this. I almost want to do that assertion somehow in the pass args, because really the pass args is what really matters for that. But unfortunately, the C array is at the moment, this is an array of a known size. It will calculate the size for me. Um, 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 but the way it gets passed in command, which is what it is passing to pass args, is a pointer, because you can't really expect every command to have the same number of arguments, and if you put in a kind of generic max, then you can't really expect all of the commands to have less than that. But potentially you could do some interesting stuff with macro magic that kind of goes through them all in the functionality. No, I'm not sure you can do that in C macros. The other languages might do some things. Right, so I think that's that, and whether you want to give an error depends on the individual command. So I think that is kind of the case. And I kind of want to see at this point, like, can we um, like set a breakpoint? How do we like set a breakpoint in C? I wonder. Um, set break uh, in C. Like, I would kind of like to do it in uh, here rather than GDB. So we have to. No, that's just yeah. So we have to like raise a second. And I can do that. So we can do resig int, which maybe I'll hide behind breakpoint, and we can have something like that. And yeah, and up here we can define what I call it, breakpoint, and it can be that thing. So it's a function, and all it does is that, I guess. And I wonder. You could potentially do something like this. We need there, don't we? You could potentially do something like that, and so we need to do signal.h. So I think you can do a thing like that, and perhaps only build it in compile time. But yeah, like if you do this, you could do like some cool stuff like I think you could do stuff like while A and B and breakpoint. Perhaps maybe not that much, but you can kind of chuck it in places you wouldn't expect. So we don't really have anything here, but can we just go debug program? And what are we trying to do? We're trying to cat file a. And we kind of need to give it a hash, but like it doesn't really matter. Maybe I will just pass it around thing. We can't even compile. That's a good start. So perhaps I'll do this and we can go cat file. And P and like maybe this header thing. Yeah, it does. Cool. Right, so I should probably read what the error is. Can't cast a pointer of different size. Is that because so we don't really have argp at this point here. We yeah, that last point. We kind of need a way to get that last pointer, don't we? Yeah. What's this about Sigboard? Yeah, sig trap makes more sense to me. Let's go here and go there and do sig trap. Oh, yeah, that was sig trap in my mind. I swear, sig trap. I don't know. Programming. It's hard. Right. So this reckons from an integer of a different size. So I is too small. I thought and was the same size as a pointer. I just thought, um, what if it's a size T? Is that enough for you? So now we can't do this. Or if we make that just a size T? Um, and cool, that kind of got us there. But yeah, we kind of need a way to get to the end. So maybe I'll uh, uh, bring this out and this can uh, do something like that. And this we can then we kind of need to get this to make that go there to make that a bit smooth. Um, I mean, that's almost a for loop, isn't it? It's kind of like for arg equals demand args, arg the type not equal arg in and arg p plus plus is essentially that. And so maybe I'll do that and get rid of that. And then we do this break here, which will just keep it as is. Yeah, that's fine. Right, so at this point it should be that, and at this point here we don't really have the same thing, but we can do that. So we can just run it as a statement, and then at this point here we should be perhaps able to make that same assertion. But perhaps we also want to check that all the commands were kind of made. Yeah. So yeah, and this is potentially the place that I want to do it. Because we have our command name from command type. So if we look at this, we have our command name and we have, no, that's the args. We have our command name and we have our args, which each of the args has a name. So we can say something like minus p not found or something. But I guess at this point, I'm kind of like building up a language. Nah, like, I don't know. Not all of them have to be set. I think it's only an error. So reverse on this. Well, I think unreverse on some of it. I kind of want to set the last one to be non-null. And I guess that signifies it finished. Um, They'll probably complain there. Yeah, can we call it a printer? There's like a printer type T. Nah, but then it's already got the is that a thing? C printer type, and because you can have like um it's fast words. Um, there's like a standard type, and I can't recall how to get it. I think if you actually just have any type, it will maybe tell you. No, it doesn't really tell you. But does this pointed diff type? That's close to what I want. So pointed diff type. That's potentially what I want. What's the difference between pointed diff type and size T then? I wonder. So size T is this, and when does it talk about pointed diff? Only right at the end. So what is this kind of? Does this talk about size T right at the end? Are they the same thing? I wonder. Uh, and it's in those standards, and it doesn't really say much more. I don't know. That doesn't really. Not really what I want though. I just want it to be a. Can we cast it to a nothing? Nah, we can't really do that. But can we first cast it to the point of diff T? But maybe instead of that, I'll just do a size T because I'm more familiar with that. Yes, cool. So what did I say? It wanted RC and RV as well. Makes sense. RC and RV. Um, right. So at this point here, we get unreachable 267. So we basically got a type that matched. That makes sense. I think these unreachables I also want to make to do a breakpoint, maybe. Breakpoint, and perhaps same with the unimplemented, if I can work out where things are. So before the import to, that's not what I thought I did. Right, so do the breakpoint again. Do that. Just want to check the thing. Easy. Right, and get the 267 unreachable again. Right, so that's just because we have an archetype that's matching that we now need to check, I guess, which I would imagine. So perhaps I want maybe something like that, and doing something like if we not that. Um, so we want to be the sort of person, or and what is it that we're working on? Codecrafters get. That is what I want. Don't really need that anymore. Don't really need that. It's mainly just my timer. Not even on timer mode. Had to do a thing. Right, so I want to do this and do cat file at p, and this had a hash bit. I don't know, like let's just put in something, and I want to see what it does. So if we run this, yeah, so it got a sig trap easy. So at this point here, we can do a layout source and figure out which one we want. 4 is where we want, so 3, 4. So at this point here, what does our various things look like? So we're looking at what this SDA thing, and we're currently looking at arg p, is that what it is? And we're currently comparing it against a type to see whether this is a type, and it can't do anything. So I think what we should do is just kind of go by this first and kind of then work from there, and we'll need to kind of do the others as well. So this kind of needs to test whether it is doing stuff like this. So here we can say, yes, it did match. So I guess the type, I think, no, I kind of want the, is there like a, like this thing, take me there, take me there now. Yeah, so unknown is first. That is kind of important because I'm planning on storing this thing into the void star data, because the void star is a way to kind of have an any type, I guess. But I'm going to have a type based on what thing it is, and if I want to return an enum, it starts at 0. So if this is 0, it's the same as null. That is kind of the important thing. Right, so if we do this, do we have the argv? We do. So we want to test argv, that thing there, and if it does that, then we do the thing. Otherwise, I kind of want to say match equals false. And that kind of changes this thing, and I kind of now need to say if match is still true at the end of this match statement. So this is kind of saying it's not matching this it's not a type, which runs into a small issue that if I want to say yeah, it does kind of run into an issue that if I wanted to say something like git cat file. Well, if I had a branch that was called blob, not that, not that. If it's just called blob, it's a fair name to call a thing, and you might have one called, gosh, what is it, tree, and you might even have one called commit. And these things here, if I go cat file -p commit and blob and tree all kind of do the right thing. The problem is that it's this type is matched first. So if the type is matched first, then we can't really say it's only a thing. I guess this is just one candidate of what it could be. But we should also maybe test whether it is a hash, if that's a possibility. So, yeah, I wonder if this is a kind of unfortunate else if situation. I guess we can just do a if match here. I kind of want to other arms ahead. So this is yeah, kind of thinking. Yeah, this is potentially a good view. So I kind of want to. I'll see it's a potential type, and if it's that is the case, then that's all it is. It's kind of a little frustrating. Because what if it saw, what if you were doing something like, you were doing this cat file, you can do a type thing, so you could do cat file blob blob, won't do that. It will let me do cat file commit. Yeah, so it will let me do that. It's a valid thing to do, but if I'm kind of gonna match the same value to multiple things, it would kind of, if I just did cat file commit, it would kind of give this error, which is only 2 arguments. What an error message. Only 2 arguments allowed, which I guess it makes sense. I only gave 1. But the way I kind of read only 2 arguments allowed, just to start with, is I have more than 2 arguments and you need to get rid of some. But it does kind of say that. But error messages, your user is not going to read like everything. Like I'm not reading all of this usage stuff, but I think a shorter usage is potentially better. Um, so, um, yeah, how do I want to handle that kind of case? I mean, I guess if another thing does kind of match this, we almost need to say that it. Mm, like if it has to be in order or like groups. Golly, parsing things is hard. There is stuff like get opt. I think can kind of do me. Did I not do it? Yeah, so we can kind of do um, this type of thing where um, it kind of forces you into certain things, like you have to have arcs in a certain way. Um, yes. So this kind of gives an example, surely. Yeah, so you can kind of say that that you give it a bunch of things, and this is kind of what you need, and you can say that. And I guess this like allows multiple things, and it will change CNIPs that kind of, or it just scans through each time. Um, hard to know. Hard to know. This might tell us some more. See, it's not really a. I've got a slightly different situation where I guess if there is only, yeah, it leads into the point where I kind of want to say these two are groups, and these two are conflicting. So I kind of want to say conflict. These two, they can't be done the same time. These two like groups, like they're like a required option, I guess. And I mean, this could has potential, I guess. This does actually have potential. Now that I'm kind of thinking through in my head whether it would work or not. Um, I mean, clearly not the syntax, but have something like that. So we can have something like this, but this isn't required all the time, but it's only really required with this thing. So this thing is required. Um, so I just don't know how to kind of have a similar thing. This is kind of what I have at the moment, and I guess it's these two kind of conflict as well. So this is like even bigger conflict, and it's almost like a like well, it's like a state machine parser, like regular expression, which I think there was even in this. Which how do we like get back to catalog? That's how we do it. There's build your own grep, which you can build your own regex engine, which is something I potentially will do. And it's got one extension, perhaps it has more. Maybe I could do it in a different language. I mean, it's got a few different things. Could be interesting. It could be quite interesting doing it in like a functional one, old regexes. But yeah, hard to know. Hard to know. We're doing this Git one. So yeah, this is kind of saying this whole blob of thing is this is almost required together. And like maybe find that T and again. So what this is saying is whatever is inside of these two braces conflicts, which means that you can't have this whole thing and this thing at the same time. It would just be an error. If we have gone down this, and so like how you would parse it, I guess, is like you would get you would kind of go through and like fill out all the things that it could be, but like I don't know, like because like you could have other stuff as well, and then it would kind of get uglier. So I think like with the cat minus p, we can do other things as well. The minus t option, like we could also allow this thing here, but I guess that could potentially be listed as like a optional. Um, Something like that. It's just how to kind of put this into how to put it into code. That is the kind of interesting part. Um, and how would you like pass the whole thing? Because yeah, my thinking is we could have so if we kind of try and do something a bit more nicely. We could have a command argt where the type is equal to a conflict, I guess. In the data, so maybe I'll make this like that, and the data equals like void star of the command T star, or like can we do something like that? How do we do arrays? See, see like array declaration with initialization, but I don't really want to declare it. I just want to like initialize in line maybe, because I kind of want to just pass a thing. this isn't really what I want. This potentially has what I want. Ah, that kind of had what I want. Oh no, it kind of was what I wanted. Yeah, I kind of want this thing here to say that that's that. Um, um, cool. Yeah, I think I just do exactly what I have here, and so here this is perhaps going to be an array where the golly, I think this might work. I don't know. Maybe we have the do something like this, and this whole thing is equal to that, and then that thing. And I kind of want to get all of this and GCC and maybe get rid of that. And so we can kind of pass it in. And like it won't know. Right, can we yoink you over there? We don't know about type, so what do we want to do here? I think I just want to kind of comment out at the um just at the moment. So conflict doesn't exist. So that is because we need to make it. So that was like arg type. So maybe I'll make it after the arg and we can test whether it's before or after, depending on that. Perhaps if need be. So we can just add that conflict and some static asserts will kind of break now, which means do we need to handle conflict? And maybe we do. I'll just put that there. That get ops can just go away. This was this. Do I need to kind of do that? I think if I come up with a conflict, that's not like case like that. If I get a what are we kind of doing in this? This is kind of getting the usage. Ah, that's why we're kind of printing out the health of this. I think in this case, I want to kind of just go get implemented, maybe just to start with. Right, so now we have this straight away. 988. Right, so we are in this and we're trying to print the help. We're trying to print the help because this apparently the cat file didn't go. So I guess I want to debug that. It's even got a little thing there. And if we lay out source maybe and run that, and we can go back to frame 4. That wasn't no. And if we have a look around and let's see what it was we were trying to do. We're literally just going through that. I think in this case, I just want to maybe like a um, and maybe I'll even is that. Right, so we've only got one arg, and its type is that. That is kind of interesting. So when we're printing the args, I guess is yeah. I think this function, this thing here, where we're printing just a single arg, needs to be its own thing. So I think here I want to go maybe get print. I don't need to do that. I can just go print R, and what do we need to pass it? We still have this in our thing. We can probably just pass it R P, and maybe just as a pointer. That's probably good. And so maybe in this print R we can have it just here, and that will just go print R. And what were we taking? We were taking a command R. That and we were taking an arc, and inside of there we were doing all of this, and so maybe that's not what I wanted. Right. So like want to go here and go here and do something like that. So if we have conflict, what I kind of want to do is wraps and stuff around it, or I don't know. We were doing stuff like that, and then inside of here we should have a command. So this is interesting. We kind of need to have that end token each time. Right, so, but anyhow, we have now a command by type, and we have it's kind of like a pointer. And this is going to be our new args. So we kind of already passed in that, so we can call it this. And this is just going to be the data of what we had. Hopefully it can work out what it wants. So at this point, I kind of want to we can do it like this. Well, um, yeah, is that what I kind of want? And while this not equal to argn, was it? Argn. We want to do some things, and at the end, we want to do this. Now, we run into a problem that we potentially will kind of hit a problem where it's the end. And I kind of want the arg end to be the first thing, just so we don't actually have to explicitly say what it is. So that's just doing stuff. So we can just have a kind of empty record. So what I think I need to do is actually have this thing inside of this. Otherwise, we'll keep going. Yeah, this is looking all right. So what happens there? We have a print arc. We need to just say 0. Is that what we need to do? And same thing there. And arg is not defined, so we can go just arg. In fact, we can maybe do that everywhere there. So we can get arg p, and we can just replace it with arg. And maybe, I don't know if it's a problem. Right, so return with no value. I guess we don't need a value. Right, so now says the available args, and it is not right. So we kind of need to say this is a for loop, maybe. Right, so for this, doing that, and we kind of want this to be that. So maybe we can do that sort of thing. And then we also want to do and then inside of that whole thing, we will, I guess, call print arg on the new thing, args. It's kind of want to call this argp now, because args it's kind of suggests you have more than one, which, like, you're kind of pointing at one. Right, so now it says we have one option, and it's minus b. This is kind of cool. So I guess for each thing, if it's not the first thing, so we can test if it's the first by well, like if it's equal to that, then it's the first thing. So we kind of want if it's not the first thing, we're going to print f bar. Doesn't change anything there, but what that will do is if I find the minus p, if we now say a conflict of this is minus t, it should say minus p and minus t. So we're not really working on the parsing, I just realized. More on the help file display. But perhaps this will kind of build up into a thing. I wonder if because this thing is, if I do like all of this, it's going to be a little interesting, because now I kind of want these two to be required together. So that's kind of going to necessitate a new type. So this is going to be a type, and I don't quite know what the like how to kind of say something like that. Required as an author. Maybe it's something like that, and here we can just say this is void star of command RT. And in this, we would have both of these things required in order. And that's the end of that. So then we would have another thing, and perhaps we would have a similar thing where we have that. And I just realized that we need this end of list just everywhere. Because if you don't have the end of list, it'll kind of go from here to the next thing in memory after this, which will probably be this, and then it'll interpret it as a command RT, which will probably like include like all of I don't know. It would probably include something like, can I get in this mode? It might get like all of this data, but it will kind of think it's in different parts. So you got to have that null. C arrays are like not really the best, but it is what it is. So if I did these two things, that kind of makes sense. And I guess, like, how do I put, like, optional things? We don't really have optional things at the moment in this, gosh, the help command. Yeah, the help command is literally trying to do what I was doing. So we have PMT, or we have, like type, and we're not allowed pretty and show type at the same time, and we're not allowed one of those two and the type to be so we're not allowed those as well as type, so it has to be type. And if the hash is null, then we can't really do anything. I mean, almost I'm writing this in a funny way. The hash is always required out of all of, in fact, I'll do it down here. We don't need to worry about optional things. I don't really have it. The hash is actually always required of all of these things. We can't really do that sort of thing when it's like this. So we would have this. And you kind of just have to get things in order. But I kind of don't like forcing things to be in order. But I guess this one is required in order. So I guess it will be something like required to get it. So these things, which haven't been really made yet. I kind of want this whole stuff to kind of get undone. And these two things are kind of required together. And then each of these needs a little thing. And so that means the hash one just is only needed in that one place. And so the required together doesn't really make sense here. So we could probably just get rid of that. And yeah, we do actually need that. Because what is that saying? That's conflicting with this. So if you have a type and one of PNT, that kind of makes sense. If you have um, P um, or T, then that is a conflict. Yeah, and then this looks a lot cleaner. So how do we go about doing that? And sometimes stuff will need to be optional. And like, gosh, sometimes things might need to be like a file. But I think I'm at the point that I feel like abstracting certain things like hashes would be a good thing to do. So the first thing I want is required together, and it's going to have two things. One is the hash, and one is going to be a conflict. And the conflict is going to be between these two things, and is all the things I wanted. So we should have two conflicts because yeah, I don't want the things with the but we haven't got that. But perhaps I can just kind of add that in. It's not too so. Here we can have type is a conflict, and perhaps the conflict I can, or maybe do some funny macro logic, but I'm not too sure with like the commas as well. It's like just a little funny. Yeah, I'm not too sure. But anyhow, what is going on? So this can be void star, and this can be our P, it's an array, and inside of this, we're going to have this one, and we're also going to have a just a type is a object type, and we're going to have the end list. List, and it's interesting. Like, how do I make sure that there is an end of list at the end of everything? I just need I need some way to make sure. Yeah, I need to have some way to make sure that there is always one of these. But yeah, I think this is getting somewhat there. So here we have a conflict. We can have a required in order. Is that the one that I did? So we have added an extra thing. So conflict and case required in order. And what are we kind of working in? We're working in the passing of the args. Yeah, I'm not too sure. We'll come back to passing. Right, so we until our braces around that one. Is that because we needed to do that? I think that's what that was. Yeah, so after all that, would do that. And so we have added another one, and it is a case required in order. And this we haven't implemented yet. So and implement it. We need a break. And so this will do a thing, and we get a assertion. So this is kind of interesting. So 345. So 345. That's in this one here. I almost this should be a static assertion because this is that. I think it's that I had kind of missed off. But what I can do is maybe bring it up here and get it. Because I think this should be a static assert, and this should right. So we need a string at the end. We kind of need. So like this is a good check for one thing, but it doesn't really check all the nested things. Which, yeah, I don't know if I can kind of do stuff like that. The static assert should work, yeah. Last element of the parse needs to be that. And we can do the same there. But this is really expected to be run once. Yeah, so I think the first one needs to be a static assert, but this one just needs to be assert. So that means this needs to be something like that, and I think that will kind of work. Yeah, so this thing isn't constant, so maybe this also needs to just be insert. And it's kind of interesting that it wasn't. Yeah, it's interesting. It could almost be constant, but yeah. So we get to a different point, right? We now need to say what to print when we're printing some arguments that are required in order. And I think a good way to do that is similar to this. We can kind of just print these, but if we getting a second item, we can just print a space a bit, and we also won't print anything around it. So they'll kind of print a thing like that. So that is saying we always need the hash and we have the P or T. And yeah, it's an interesting kind of format, but like you can kind of craft how it will look. It's kind of interesting that it is now not really getting done based on the stuff I put in. Like it's all based on this big behemoth, which is the same as that. So we could probably do that, and I wonder. Yeah, so I wonder. Is it possible to make like a define args? Have we done args? No, we did our. Where is it? Yeah, we just did arg. It's unfortunate I went that far. Yeah, so if we get args, and what is args going to do? I went into replace mode. I don't often end up in replace mode. Well, like visual replace mode. So like I use their replace mode, but this is like you kind of like overwrite what you are doing, which I haven't done that. Right. So anyway, what is args going to do? So it's you kind of need to pass it some things, um, and it's going to return us a thing with. So I guess this can be man RT. It's going to have that, and then we're going to have a bunch of things, and we kind of need to do the VA macro. So CLA VA arms is this what I want? So variadic macros. We kind of need the string printing in a sense that like we can do stuff like this. Yeah, so this might be kind of what I want. Because in here, if we have there, we kind of want to end with that, but this needs to be at the end. It's like quite late. Um, like, can I maybe just do video artworks? Yeah. Which followed by a comma. But we need that one. And then followed by this end of list, and we can kind of say that that's the end of list, and that won't let us do it. It will just let us do it. Or you can just note it's the end of list. So perhaps I can do something like that, and maybe I'll try it on just this one. So if I comment out that, we can do dot data equals void star, and we can just say args. And I guess the args are going to be these two things. Oh, I don't think it's going to like it because we have commas in the middle. But will it? And we don't know if it's there. Right, so you expect an expression before this. can we do just this? Right, we're not allowed named variables. Can we just allow it? Oh no. Gonna have to like see how it's kind of pasting. So I think this is minus B. I think it's minus E. Minus E to do that. Minus we can do so we have compile and then we have S and E, and so S and E will do different things based on that. That's what I want. So E is right. So there we would get like some assembly files, and E we would get some just real big C files. But if we go to GCC minus E and we want to get source main, and can we like just put it to yeah, and so this kind of gets us what it expands to. So I kind of wanted to search for command arg t because we're allowed that, and here we should have here it should have, yeah, so in here we should have this. And what does it not like about this? Especially compared to the old version. Right, so if we kind of make this look maybe more like it, so we're like in the matrix. Nah. Yeah, so we have an extra comma. So we don't want that extra little comma. And that's probably the error message it was given us. Real good error message. Expected expression before comma. I mean, I guess that comma, but it's not really clear why. Right, so that actually did something. So that seems reasonably useful. So that means we don't really need to have all of the zeros on the end. And so here we can maybe make a little macro out of it. So here we probably want to yeah, just go args that and find that, delete it, then replace that with that. Yeah, probably something like that. And does that work? That still works. So it's here. Maybe I'll put that there just for that. It does kind of highlight it in a worse way. And I guess this we can also go that, and it magically magics. Maybe I did too much. Right, so that was on this one. So I think I was getting it a little overboard. But then this kind of means that we need to put it explicitly. And Yeah, it's unfortunate. Need to make sure this is explicitly there, and like this assert alone is actually not enough to cut it. I just realized because you might just call help, get help cat file, and that would bypass this assertion. So like if we have this, it should give an assertion. If we gosh, we just lost that. So if we now try and go get, well, actually, your program help cat file, it'll just do stuff, which you don't really want it to be doing, because it doesn't know when to stop. So we need to have this at the end, but it didn't like us having this. Um, like it's just unfortunate that it didn't. What was the error message? Initializer not constant. It's because it's because this is frustrating. It's because we don't know how much stuff is needed in here. And so it needs to know that. Though, can we just do this, except not there, and then do something like args and get rid of that and do that? Will that be that? Right, so we're not allowed to see array len. So we can't really look at the last argument then. Um, so I guess here we need to. I think this assertion is probably the wrong place to do it. But yeah, that assertion just can't exist at the moment. Right, so now we can't do that because it's not constant. Right, so if we're here, can we get rid of this? So this whole thing needs to be some args. And the whole point of it is I wanted this to be close to where you're actually doing the function. So like you basically define the args ideally before, and like with some macro magic we can make this a bit neater and tidier. But yeah, because now it is not constant, but I want it to be constant. Um, does it need to be constant? What does it set args to? Args is kind of just set to. Yeah, can we not just? Why does it need to be constant? I could also do something like define this. Okay, whole lot of things here. Right, and maybe we need to do that 19 times. So I kind of want to maybe do this and do that, and that, and that, and 18 more. Thank you. All right, so if we do that, we're not allowed to do something. That compiled. Cool. Right, so we're allowed that if it's for that. We have to have this backspace hill, which is kind of annoying, which maybe I can clean this up a little more. So we can have a define conflicts, and it will have some things. And what will this do? This will have this is just going to be I guess we have to pass this to well, no, we don't actually. We can just have something like this. Type equals conflict, and data equals void star, and then args, and then all the things that we pass it via args. And then that would kind of just deal with this thing. So what would that kind of look like? So we can try with this again. We can maybe yoink that up here. And in here, we would have conflicts and the things that are conflicting. These two things. So we can just say these two things conflict. And maybe put that like that. And then this goes like that. Yeah, like that looks right. So these things conflict, and we want an object type afterwards. So maybe see if this does it. That still works perfect. So how would we get around this? This is another conflict. So here we would go conflicts, and the things that it is conflicting is pretty much just we get that. It was just the other conflicts and the type. Yeah, so it's just these two things. And then that kind of adds another thing there. Easy. And what is this whole thing? This is like required in order. Which, like, I don't know, like, do I just kind of give them in order? I guess if things are not required in order, then I would just kind of leave them out. I still don't know how I'm gonna like parse this whole thing, but yeah, I don't know. I'll have it as that, and I don't know if that is nice. I think I um, requires. I think I want to do that required in order, so I can make the same thing. So this is just requires, and then we can of things, these two things, and then it'll be those two things. and the arms is required to kind of wrap it around. And yeah, it wouldn't really work without that. I mean, that looks kind of good. Needed to add a backspace because the macro, and it still works. That's the important thing. And this is kind of potentially as small as I would want to get it. It's kind of unfortunate that because I mean, you could kind of bring that up and bring that up as well, but it looks a little too long. So I think it does need to kind of be like that. But perhaps I could even obfuscate this a bit more, and you can like define something like this, and we could just have something like it's kind of annoying. We could have something long like that. I think that would work, and then here we can have type equals bool, and here we can have dot name equals name, and that would work. Perhaps need to like not have the brackets around there, but we can figure this out. So then we can have flag of minus p, and maybe we'll kind of put this here and do that. And we can also have flag of minus p. And those are the two things that conflict. We need a few things like that. And that still works. So, and what I can do now is these two flags conflict with each other. And then we can kind of see more things. Um, and yeah, we also kind of could do some more stuff like we can have a type, and really all it does is this is object type. I don't know if that's nicer to read, but we can have a type of that, and then a hash like that. But nah, I think those potentially will stand is good. This doesn't compile. When did we lose it? I'm going all over the place. I kind of want to in here. Like it worked at this point, right? It didn't. But it worked at this point. I'm sure. Yeah, so it worked at that point. So where did we go wrong? Um, hmm. All right. Held it. come out of the sausage machine. So where are we kind of looking for this? This is like looking at the replies. I guess if I just search for required in order, they'll probably have this. Yeah, so it looks a bit gross, but I wonder if you can do something like this. No. Um, but you can also, I could do something like if I get this, like format this, I don't know. I kind of want just things to look kind of a bit less hectic. I wonder if I can kind of organize that. Um, like I could do something like I don't know. What do I want to do? I want to do that, and then again. So it will kind of just add new lines to everything. It didn't do nothing like that. Um, right. Anyhow, what is up with this? So if we get this, I just need to remember them format braces. What like will it do the trick if I like now go here and like people that's like doing heaps of stuff. Can we GQ? That's like a thing. It is a thing. Right. So if we go GQ that that little thing, not sure it was quite what I want. But do we have a style? A style? We don't, but maybe I can install that. It sounds artistic. Um, um, and so if we do that, I wonder instead of doing that, we can go set formats program equals a style. Must be, I don't know what that is, but and if we do that, we don't have a minus B option, but maybe we can just do that. Um, that looks a little nicer. Right, so where is it kind of failing? You could even do the same. So I think if I get them all kind of like this, we can even do I do this now. Now it kind of does that. Oh no, that was a very roundabout way of doing things. Right, so we have a thing, and what even was the error that kind of had expected closing brace before one of these zeros. Um, and big noises. Right, so we're here. And at this point, this kind of has like a few things going on. I kind of want to get that out there. That out there, and maybe do that. Yeah, so it hasn't added a comment there in our. So this will be our complex, which I thought would do the trick. So that's just kind of setting the data to that. So I guess the complex. Nah, it does set args. Yeah, so it sets the args on that, and so it does this. Um, so I wonder if I need this or um, um, so args will be everything within this Drex, and we are missing trailing semicolon. So yeah, I guess that means we're missing is trailing semicolon somewhere. Yeah, I think after this flag, we actually need to kind of just have a trailing semicolon. But I also wonder if we get away with not doing it somehow. It's kind of annoying because like when I had the comment that complained in other places, like I kind of wanted it here to signify that this is a separate thing. But then this has it. Well, actually, no. Is this what I want? I just want to get rid of all the trailing ones. Is that what I want? And then in here we can do this. I just want to see. Yeah. And now, yeah, that's cool. So I just can't have trailing. It's here. Cool. So like that's potentially what is needed. Hard to know. Hard to know how I'm going to kind of pass that. So at the moment, I believe like cat file just won't work. Well, yeah, it's giving me oh that way around. Yeah, when we if we just your program, if we do that, it will just print out the it doesn't actually give an error message saying why it's telling me to do that. But yeah, so I guess this is happening because this pass args is not making it. So maybe I do want debug, and I almost want to break on the parse args and maybe layout source. And if we maybe run this, so we get to a point here. So I guess at any point in time we're looking at arg I. This is the flag that we're looking at, and I potentially also want to look at what our P we're looking at, which doesn't exist at the moment. But now we can see this is what it is. Yeah, it's interesting that the data is a thing, but I guess what I want to do here is maybe match on the type of arg rather than do this kind of matchiness. yeah, maybe that's what I want to do. Kind of throw it apart. But I think that might stay around for another little episode. But I guess what I kind of want to do is do this uh, insert here, and here we will kind of just if we search for all of these, maybe just search because we didn't do our end there. It does kind of look different. But yeah, if we get all of these, is that where we want to go? Yeah, and we go here, and maybe here we can go to whatever it is. Did I not have it in the mode? I didn't. I was like, what G over. So if I do that, we can get that. If I do that, and now if I like do something like this, um, and do that and do that a few times, and probably need a default just in case it's kind of gets a bad value, and if that's the case, we should probably return falses because I think we're like returning. Yeah, we return from this. Sure, we can potentially do some other stuff. So if it is a bool or a string, um, I guess we don't actually cover strings at the moment, but maybe we'll kind of deal with these things. So if it is a bool, then it is a match if the name matches. And break and note not there. So this is just going to set match within this whole thing. So and we kind of set the data to be true at this point, which yeah, we do kind of want that, I think. And this pretty much none of this will happen, I think. And then at the end there, when it falls through, we want it to not match. Cool. So that's what happens if it's a bool. If we have a string, we have get unimplemented and probably a break as well. And we have the same thing for all of these cases. And that's kind of roughly what's going to happen. And I guess maybe the type we can kind of look at. So the type we can maybe just kind of copy that in there, but it's not quite what it is. And what's this going on? That's just loading code that like that. And so I think this is roughly what we kind of want to go forward with. So this should now to at 9 look at the required in order because we need to kind of make sure that we have everything in the args list. So I guess, yeah, there's a few things that you'd have to do. I think I'd have to like count the number of things in this array that it has. I almost want to pass it. No, it doesn't really work that way. It's kind of annoying that I have to find the last element by going to the end. finding the link by going to the end. I mean, it's the same as doing. The length is just scanning to the end. But yeah, I guess in like trying to think of how I might do it in required in order. We can find out the length of the thing that it is. It might be better if we kind of look at what we have. So we would kind of look at the number of things that we have. It's two things. If it's different than that, then this whole thing doesn't match. And so we can probably set some marker on that somehow, but we already kind of have the data. I kind of want a different piece of data. It adds a bit of static memory, but it's all static at this point. But yeah, I guess this whole stuff we can kind of yoink up here and put it kind of where we're doing all this stuff, I guess. Or maybe actually below that. I don't know if C's super strict on that for macros, but yeah. So what I'm thinking is because for conflicts and requires, like we're looking at requires, but the data is kind of already used up, kind of being our fake argument pointer. I guess if it gets set to something, then yeah, I think it almost needs to like have matched, and they'll just point to the RC that kind of got matched at that point in time. Yes, maybe that is what the case is. Yeah, maybe that's what the case is. And golly, let's get out of there. So if we had this extra thing, pretty much it'll be 0 to start with, which kind of works maybe. It kind of means our argc, which we use in this pass arg. So this pass arg we should probably move up to. I kind of want to get from well, maybe just get there. And I want to put this where we put the erg type stuff. Yeah, and that can be all that. Yeah, all of that up there. And that's just all helpers. Cool. So this is kind of not needed there. So in this case, the pass args it isn't really it's cool from there. Can't really do that, but I'm kind of thinking in a way of how to do it so it matches more than once, I guess. that way, like if you have a time, it would have to be. I guess these would never have it, but yeah. So you'd kind of go through it. So if you have requires, you'd check how many things you have. If you had a different number, then you just can't do it. Though I guess it really depends on what comes after. Because say this was requires as well, so it required both of these two in order. Um, this requires can't really say I don't have enough if the argc doesn't get there, because at this point, you kind of need to have one more, which I guess you can kind of keep track of how much RC you should be allowed to have. But then how do I slot in optional things? I guess optional things, you could just scan the entire argc, but then you would have to match it off to say that it has been used. Because I don't want to get in a case where I'm like reusing args, like a type being both a type and a hash. But I also want to allow optionals in kind of like any order, but like maybe any order that you define. Um, I don't know, haven't done optionals yet, but I can think on that as I get to it. So I guess if you've got requires, you check if you've got the amount of things that you have, and you want both of them to match. If you have a conflict, you want to kind of go through and basically see if, well, like you would go through and see if the first one matched, and if it did, then you've got a match. There's like lots of hooligans about sourcing. Heard some yelling, but yeah. So I guess if this conflicts, you basically want to see if this whole thing matches, and check for other things and check for like a match count, I guess. And this whole thing is said to be matched if the match count is one, I guess. So it didn't have none of the things, and it did have one of the things. And I guess it can kind of store that by if it gets one thing that matches, it sets it to be matched. And then if it finds something that is also matched, then you would unset it, but then you would get to the point where you do third. I think you would have to keep a counter, which you can do. And then in this, the same conflicts thing happens. So you would keep a counter of any of the inner things that match, and then flag we already have kind of done. So I think I've kind of got a rough notion on how to do that in my head, but I think for now, I'm going to leave it and gosh, leave it so we can't even compile, and that's because of C, good old C. So we need to just yoink this down here and maybe paste that. We bring back this, and so here we want to Not that much. I kind of want to. There's like a command. What is it? Is it there? Yeah. So I want to just get this. Is that what I want? I could just do that. Right. So from here, I want from here maybe all of this, and this is that's print tags. I want pass tags. So gosh, from here, I want to get all of this function, but just to there, and then after the command T, I want to paste that like that. Boom. Now it should compile, and it should be unimplemented and required. Cool. I like this. I like this. Yeah, so I guess required an order, you would just go through, make sure that the match count includes, I don't know. Yeah, hard to know, but yeah. Oh, hopefully that has been interesting to people. And yeah, let me know if you are interested. This is potentially something that could get broken out into its separate library. Just being able to pass arguments, because it's not really just related to Git. Like many things have arguments. Like even Vim has a bunch of things that it could do, and it does it in like different ways that it might do it. So yeah, hard to know. I think it's time for another time. I kind of want to open this up at a few parts arc. So next time I come to this, it will remind me where I'm at. Cool. Well, thank you and have a great day. See ya.